Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Behind the Screens, your favorite esports and gaming talk show here at Radio UTD. My name is Hector.
I'm Hitarth.
And I'm Adi.
And we're back this week. Sadly, the last episode of Behind the Screens to air here at Radio UTD. A very, very memorable moment for us three. But we got some great things going on in the esports scene this time around, and we will talk a little bit about the upcoming Black Friday deals as well. So let's kick it off with CRL. It happened. If anyone doesn't know what that is, it's Collegiate Rocket League. And our team here at UT Dallas competed in the Western Conference against other schools like Mizzou, LSU, UNT, and we got 5th overall in the Western Conference, which is kind of crazy for our first main semester, really, in CRL.
I was about to say, that's actually nuts compared to like how we stand compared to a lot of these other teams, because we were definitely kind of like one of the underdogs coming into this, and
yeah,
we still
we're a super
performed
young
really
team, right?
well.
Yeah,
our team is super young.
I think
Yeah,
we
we're like
had
a
a
pretty
team
new
last year, or even just maybe a last semester, with Joro and Quack, but this semester kind of, I'd say it solidified itself as like the first year for Rocket League, really, and kind of put a name out for UTD Esports in the Rocket League scene, because we've definitely been pretty competitive in Smash Bros, Overwatch, even League of Legends, but now that our Rocket League team is kind of in such a prestigious kind of community, being CRL, now we actually are being respected as a Rocket League team as well, which is great.
That's exciting, honestly. I'm glad we can like set that up for the next like generations of people at UTD. Because honestly, it was kind of worrying, because I honestly thought our RL stuff was gonna die out. Because like we've been trying so hard with the unofficial Rocket League club. Well, I say unofficial, but we're a UTD Rocket League club, and we've been trying really hard with that, all of us, to like actually get Rocket League into esports, and then we actually got it into esports, and then got teams into there, and then it kind of be upsetting just to see all of that just drop because we're not good enough. So this is exciting.
The way you phrased it.
I mean, because that's how it was, honestly. Like, we didn't perform as well, and that's just what's gonna cause a team to die.
But here's the thing: the three of us like sat down and watched a little bit of this event live, and I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I was just like, "Come on!"
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, it gets intense.
It's exciting and fun to watch. Yeah,
I think CRL is in the same boat as why people watch college football, where it's so high scoring because like everyone is like mechanically skilled at like their own respective parts, but there's often mistakes on like the defensive end of the court where they let those goals in, but then they just score right after. So like in several games, like it was like 4-4 with like half the game left, which is ridiculously high scoring, especially for a high caliber game. So it's really, really sick to see us get 5th place. That does actually qualify us for the CRL wild card, which I would say I don't fully understand what it is, but it seems like it's essentially the bottom, like I believe 8 teams out of the people that got 1st and 5th in both divisions, so both the Western and Eastern Conference, and they play against, I think, teams placed 3rd through 5th in both Eastern and Western, so that would be a total of 6 teams are in a wild card, and they play against each other, and the top 4 qualify for the national championship. So we still have a 2/3 chance, if you're talking even odds, to get into the national championship for CRL, which is incredible to even fathom.
That's huge.
Yeah, I take it it's one of those things where it's like they see that they have the potential to, really be up there. So they give them like a second shot at it, to get more games out of it, to see more matches. And then, if they do prove themselves within this tournament, go ahead, let's see what you got in like the
Yeah,
championships.
I mean, it does two things. It kind of makes sure that those teams that kind of they performed well but didn't quite get to the top 4 or top 3 actually. Well, no, it's actually top 2. I keep correcting myself, but yeah, only the top 2 from each conference.
Accounting with Hector.
Only the top 2 from each conference made it fully into the thing, like without having to do anything else. But now those bottom 3, 4th, and 5th on each conference are gonna compete for four slots, and I think
it'll think of it. It's almost like a lose. I don't mean to cut you off here, but it's almost like a loser's bracket. Like
yeah, it's theoretically like a loser's bracket because that Seattle fall season that they just played in the playoffs was like a knockout elim. Like you get out for good. So that's how it was formatted. Thankfully, we won the first match, lost the second, but it did cement ourselves in that last slot. So I would be impressed because not only did we get the last spot in the playoffs to qualify for playoffs, we got the 6th out of the 15 teams in the Western, but we also are now in the last slot to get into the wild card. So let's get the last slot to get into the national championship.
Yes, sir.
We're trying to go with the ultimate underdog story here.
Facts.
You gotta do it.
But yeah, I mean, from our conference, Mizzou, UNT, both making it, both insane teams that have performed out of their mind, and our team being a very new team, so to be qualifying this far in is kind of incredible. And I know myself, I work at Esports. I've talked with our head director and coaches, and they're all super thrilled and excited to see the progression of our team over this next semester as well, since we're just getting started really with our Rocket League I guess debut in the scene. But yeah, that is super exciting. Another event that occurred for esports actually was the Galaxy Gambit. This was a smash, yeah, Galaxy Gambit 3, being the third one that the Buzz, for those of you that don't know Smash 2L, a content creator, or I guess even a pro.
He's a professional.
Yeah, that works.
First, content creator second.
Yeah, that works for Team Liquid, a humongous org for esports, and it's a singles tournament that had some big names like SSG Meister, Spargo, which is a great young player, and a lot of our players, I think 5 actually competed in this tournament, and they placed incredibly well.
Yeah, it was Marcel, Fox, Cosma, and then
Otto. And then we had one more player that wasn't streaming, Kenny G, who's actually a newer addition who also plays Greninja.
I've heard of Kenny G before. Yeah.
No, I have you.
Yeah.
The musician, not. No, just kidding.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that event was super sick. But I guess like going at it from you guys, since you guys know a lot more about Smash Bros, like what did you think about the overall event and the little that we watched of it?
Personally, based on what I watched, it was hype. I mean, sadly I wasn't able to watch Fox play a lot. He mains Terry. I think he just happened to be like in between matches when we happened to tune in. But we happened to catch one of our players go up against Meister, and you know, it was our Greninja player. I forget their name, which is my bad. But they were playing against Meister. Meister started off Lucina, and then our Greninja player just like, I wouldn't say like thrashed, but like they beat them like pretty well, to where Meister, let's just like hold on a second, hopped off of Lucina and then went Game and Watch.
Yeah.
Oh, his main. Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, Otto actually took a game off him, which in itself is very impressive considering he's literally a pro.
See, that I'm upset because I was watching through most of the matches with y'all as well. We were all in call, like looking at them, and then the one time I have to get up and step away from my computer is when that match happens, and I come back and I miss it. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Were you able to catch one of our players going up against Spargo though?
I was.
I don't remember.
Who was it? Marcel, right? Yeah,
it was Marcel. He was playing Pichu, and you know, like Pichu being the lightest character in the game gets knocked out so early, and Spargo's not called the best Cloud for nothing.
Yeah, that guy is nuts. He did actually end up winning the entire event without dropping a single game.
Jesus.
Yeah, without dropping a set.
7 wins, nuts. 0 losses, 100% set win. That's crazy.
Yeah. Which is just crazy. But our players, Marcel placing 9th, Fox placing 13th, Cosmo also placing top 15. And then I believe our other players, I'm not sure where they qualified exactly, but excuse me.
You're
taking
good.
Sets off of
Kenny G plays 25th, by the way.
Okay.
But
he had to play Marcel, so that's why he got knocked out.
Okay.
But speaking of Cosmo, you know, whenever I happened to tune in, I was catching a few of his games where he was, I believe it was playing against the Bayonetta, and he was super far behind. I think he was like more than 100% down. And then he mains Rob, and using his gyro, which is like a little projectile that he throws out, he was able to combo him straight from the middle of stage all the way to knockout, and it was hype.
It was 0 to
like
death,
he was so far behind.
It was like straight off of a spawn from Bayonetta, and then he got like 2 or 3 hits and then just killed Bayonetta off the right.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way. And he popped off. And
if you want to see a clip of it, it's on the esports Twitter.
Yeah, I was about to say you had a very funny comment because he was streaming it about what his clip was because. Would you like to go into it?
Basically, like, his mic was so... You know those edits where, like, they, like, bass boost it so hard where, like, any word that comes out just, like, caps and peaks the, like, speakers? That's essentially what his mic was doing. So, like, every single thing he, like, put out of his mouth was peaking the microphone. And so the second he, like, basically, I'd say, like, destroyed this person off stage without even taking any percentage... was just peeking the mic at the end, and it was so funny.
It was pure bass boost.
Yeah, it was really funny. But yeah, go check it out on the Twitter while you're over there. You can also go ahead and follow Radio UTD on Twitter and Instagram for that matter. And if you're interested in any spots on our team for next semester, go ahead and visit our website, radioutd.com.
But you gotta be cracked.
You gotta
be.
You gotta be. But
listen, our Smash team is nuts. All right?
They are nuts.
Like, it's crazy how good we have a team.
Yeah,
It's crazy how good we have a team. Can I try that again?
Yeah,
it's crazy how good our team is.
There you go. Round of applause.
I can't talk. Thank you. I did it, boys.
You learned how to speak English. I still haven't done that.
Yeah.
Actually, a big accomplishment for many adults in America, you know?
For me, because I'm really bad.
But
you're not an
adult,
adult,
hang on, but really quickly, speaking of people who never learn, let's talk about Nintendo for a second.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So, Nintendo has been infamous. Yeah, I feel like that's a good word to use without being too offensive. About throwing out DMCA whenever fans make projects. I mean, this is usually done often with Pokemon, like Mario ROM hacks, Zelda ROM hacks. And while they do have a right to protect their property, it doesn't mean that it makes them look good doing it. And this past week, we had another example of it where a major Smash tournament known as the Big House was canceled because since COVID's going on, obviously they're not meeting in person for this, so they're going to be using Slippi, which is an unapproved rollback netcode that makes Melee playable online.
Yeah.
To be more specific, it makes Melee playable online better than you've ever seen an online game be played. Like Ultimate, better than anything else that you can possibly do online. It's actually absurd how good it is to play Melee online with Slippi. It literally feels like you can touch your opponent's shoulder. You're literally playing next to them. That's how good it is.
I actually heard something. I was watching a video on it yesterday from Hungry Bucks talking about it. And
I was gonna say from Ludwig.
Ludwig did post. But that's actually funny you mentioned that. Ludwig kind of like rose up because of Melee, if you didn't know that. He used to make like montages and he used to cast at Melee events.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
his most popular vid. I don't mean to cut you off, but
Yeah,
his
no, I was
most
gonna mention
popular
the same
video
thing.
on his channel
It's like
is
top 5
like
salty ice climber moments or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he's very, and it's really cool to see like someone that like has grown from that, but like completely away from Melee, I'd say, but still really care about where his roots are. And I mean, he's really good friends with all of them. Zane, who's a really talented player, Mango, who he's really good friends with, who's won actually coincidentally the first Evo that Melee was part of, Evo 2013, or when they let it back in. I don't know if it was the first one, but that was a really important Evo because it had a similar thing that happened right now. Essentially, Big House 2020, which has been a ongoing event that's been happening for, I'd say, over 9 years now, actually got a cease and desist from Nintendo of America because of using Slippi, or mainly in part of it.
Yeah, so the message that Big House threw out was, the Big House is heartbroken to share that we've received a cease and desist from Nintendo of America to cancel our upcoming online event. We were informed that we do not have permission to host or broadcast the event primarily due to the usage of Slippi. Sadly, all of our competitions are affected. We are forced to comply with the order and cancel Big House Online for both Melee and Ultimate. Refund information will be sent shortly. We apologize to all those impacted. So they moved it online on November 10th. Just because of COVID, and then they started taking registrations, and 9 days later, a cease and desist shows up at their door from Nintendo.
Yeah, it's
Actually,
so scummy.
It really is. I didn't know that it canceled like the entire thing. I didn't know Ultimate got affected
Yeah.
as well by it.
Yeah.
I thought it was just
No.
Melee.
They just
That's
thought
so
might as well
dumb.
cancel the entire thing if they're not gonna have Melee.
That's understandable, honestly. That seems like it'd be the fairest for both games. At least
And
in their
then-
eyes, probably.
And then obviously all of this sparked massive outlash, because this is just people who are trying to compete in their own game. There's a perfect means to do it, but when literally the creator is the only thing stepping in your way, it's frustrating.
Yeah, and I mean I think Hungrybox, going back to that, actually like said it pretty well. Is like playing devil's advocate, the only really reason why they're doing this is because essentially the only way that you can play Melee on your computer is through ISO files, and so there are legal ways to obtain ISO files by basically putting in the disc for the GameCube, but I'd say a good portion of people just download it off of ROM websites, which in itself is technically an illegal process. And so Nintendo, and unfortunately this is just Nintendo's mentality really, is just like any form of emulation to them that's not made by them just seems illegal, essentially, and they want to get rid of it as soon as possible.
And really quickly, for the record, according to legal means, emulation is not illegal.
Exactly.
There is precedent for it.
Yeah.
They've brought this up. I remember Ludwig mentioned how they tried doing this beforehand.
That's what I'm saying. At
and
Evo,
they brought it to court before.
actually, so what happened at Evo 2013, and that's why I was talking about it previously, is they actually, and this is even stupider, they tried making Evo not played at, or Melee not played at Evo because they didn't want Melee to be live streamed, even though they were using like fully legal copies, because that was the only method at the time, was being in LAN and playing off of the GameCube or Wii with the disc, but yet they still wanted it to not. And so actually
It's so dumb.
an update to the statement from Big House from Nintendo is as follows: Nintendo appreciates the love and dedication to the fighting game community has for the last, or for Smash Bros series. That makes no sense. Dedication
You good,
the fighting game community has oh, okay, I get it. You see, not many Americans know English. We've partnered with numerous Super Smash Bros. Tournaments in the past and have hosted our own online and offline tournaments for the game, and we plan to continue the support in the future. Unfortunately, the upcoming Big House tournament announced plans to host an online tournament for Smash Bros. Melee that requires use of illegally copied versions of the game in conjunction with a mod called Slippi during the event. Right there alone, without reading anything following, is already incorrect because it doesn't require the use of illegally copied versions at all.
No.
Slippi does not say, okay, you have to download a ROM illegally. And on top of that, I mean, theoretically, it's legal to download a ROM if you have owned the game, even if you don't download it, like, through the method of putting it in your PC, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, ROMs itself aren't illegal. Downloading ROM websites that like let you download ROMs are illegal.
Yeah.
But ROM itself aren't illegal because you can take your own disc, like you said, put it in your computer and get the disc ISO file from that yourself. And they could easily do that as well. Nintendo is just like, you guys are using illegal copied, so nah.
I mean, I will say,
I feel like, go for it.
I will say real quick, I'm pretty sure a majority of people may get their ROMs illegally, but I do think regardless of that, a lot of those people that are still invested have 100% bought in Melee before in the past on the GameCube.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But continue, sorry.
No, yeah, and it's like I feel like either Nintendo has a problem with that because they're just assuming that immediately straight up, or I feel like they're just having a straight problem with Slippi itself and they don't want to say it in that way.
Yeah, I mean, some speculation is saying that they might eventually port Melee in some regard, and that's why they're being so strict. But I don't think it is, because they wouldn't have done it in 2013 as well if they were planning on. So I think it's just stupid. But to finish off the statement really quick, Nintendo therefore contacted the tournament organizers to ask them to stop. They refused, leaving Nintendo no choice but to step in and protect its IP and brands. Nintendo cannot condone or allow piracy of its intellectual property.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to find the statement, but somebody made a very good point where, you know, the same thing happened for other games where for like a very old game, I believe one of them was the original Guilty Gear, somebody implemented like netcode rollback. And you know what happened when the creators that noticed? They picked up the person who made it. They're just like, this is excellent work. It brought the game back to life. And people are like frustratingly saying this, like, okay, if you're gonna do the cease and desist, you have to offer some sort of alternative rather than just take it down and stay silent.
That's the thing. Nintendo wants to kill Melee. There's no incentive for them to keep it alive. As sad there is, but to them there's not. The incentive is not direct. It is essentially keeping that scene alive so that fans that may have seen Melee are like, oh, I'm interested in Smash, and then they go into Smash Ultimate or stuff like that. There's no downside of keeping Smash Melee alive because it's such a niche community, and on top of that, it's not like they're still selling active copies of the game anyways. Who cares?
See, that's the thing though. I mean, even though they would be technically making their own competitor, at the end of the day they would still be making their money off of it. You know, like there's obviously an audience for this. There's obviously people that still care about it, and I can say decades later. So why are they kneecapping something? Yeah, why are they kneecapping something that a big audience obviously has interest in, wants to put money into, and they're just making it more and more inaccessible? Because again, new copies of Melee aren't being printed, hence having to go like emulation, and there's no support for it, hence having to make Slippi. So it's just one of those things where it's like you're not really giving the community in question a choice.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where it's just Nintendo being greedy, really, and it's for their own sake of just saying that they're kind of trying to like refuse to. They need to save their IP and brands, basically, which is just like you said, if they took the creator of Slippi, which actually is one single person who created this mod, who took off their full-time job for 6 months to create this mod.
It's crazy.
And why it's so incredible, and how you can play from Florida to California and you still feel like you're in the same room, but yet Nintendo's online when I'm literally 5 miles away from you guys feels like I'm playing in McDonald's. I don't know.
Imagine what it's like actually playing in McDonald's in that case.
Probably better, honestly, because at least it'd be land.
It's just, I don't know. Smash, or rather Nintendo, after this whole thing at EVO, has never really shown love to Melee. Just in general, obviously, like you said, they say that they host these and continue to plan support for Melee, but I think it's crap. They haven't really done much for it at all.
I mean, the most that I can think of that they've done to actively help the community is slap their name on an attorney that already exists, saying it's officially Nintendo sponsored.
Yeah.
And what does that grant?
Add into a and it doesn't even add to like a prize pool or anything. They're just stuck in this like weird middle ground where they don't know what they want to classify Smash as, because there's such this massive esports audience that's like cheering for Smash to be a competitive like environment, and then they're also saying, well, it's also a party game. Well, here's the thing, it can live on as both. Smash has always been able to like live on as both. So I don't know why they're like shying away from like hardcore marketing one way or hardcore marketing the other.
Well, I don't know. And one really quick thing is like, I think this really goes to show how little just Smash in general is supported by Nintendo, where Big House, an event that easily could be partnered with Nintendo if they actually put in the effort, only had a prize pool, like Mango winning Melee first place for $3,300. It's literally less than we got in a Fall Guys tournament. And he got first place in like a full tournament for Smash. I don't know. I just hate how Nintendo approaches Smash in general.
It's just really dumb.
Okay, let me put it into give another example, put it into another perspective, right? Let's talk about EVO Japan. And this was back a couple. This was like early this year. It was both Tekken and Street Fighter had prize pools of around 2 million yen, which is about like 19 grand, right? The first place prize winner for Smash Ultimate for EVO got a Pro controller. Which he then dropped, by the way. Like on stage.
Yeah.
I just... They have this weird line between Smash, right? For me, it's a weird mix of they want to keep the game competitive, but they have no interest in doing so, both between their patches and also between their support for the game. Because the game is so geared towards a party game, that they are invested in keeping as much money to themselves as they can, rather than bigger corporations. I mean, Nintendo is humongous, so actually smaller corporations reinvesting money into prize pools. I would even take Hi-Rez as an example, or even League of Legends, where they take the money that they earn from the game, both in sales, for skins and stuff like that, and reinvest it into prize pools for the tournaments, like the World Championships.
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen Smash do a single time.
Yeah, like my mentality with Nintendo, this is coming from someone who absolutely like loves the company and the products that it makes, is they've always been 2 steps forward, 4 steps back.
Yeah.
For everything, like one good thing they do, it seems like there's this like glaring issue that there's just like, you know, it's been there since forever. Could you please do something about it?
Yeah.
But all of this has given rise to the massive hashtag that is now trending on Twitter, which is free Melee.
Yep.
And so, you know, I wish for Melee to be freed. You know, like, not personally a Melee fan. It's not a game for me. But, like, it must be so aggravating to be in that community, to see this game that you love get restricted by the company that made it.
Well, that's the thing. Go ahead, Hitarth.
I'm like, see, here's the thing. I'm like in a middle boat on this, because I'm not active in Melee or anything, but then Melee also was my childhood. Like, it was literally the first Smash game I played way back when I was younger.
Yeah.
And one of the few GameCube games I actually played with other people. Like, I didn't ever own the game. I didn't really own the GameCube for too long. I had a GameCube at some point, and we still do now, but like, the biggest thing was I would always, I'd have my next door neighbor, I'd always go over to them, and then we'd play on their GameCube, and then they would have like Melee, they'd have like Mario Kart and all that stuff. And so I basically grew up on Melee as well, and it's kind of just upsetting seeing it die now of all times.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's one thing, and I keep referring to this HBox video, but it was so accurate, because obviously for those of you that don't know, HBox, also on Liquid, who's been basically, I'd say, one of the biggest faces in Melee scene, period.
Oh yeah, not even a question.
Basically essentially said either COVID dies or Melee dies. There's no really in between, because the only way that Melee can survive from this whole scenario is if COVID stops and in-person tournaments begin again. But until then, the scene for Melee competitions is basically gone. The only thing that there can be as of now are smaller tournaments, and just like peer-to-peer connection for playing, but that's about it. There's nothing else.
Yeah, there's really nothing else you can do, honestly.
And so, I mean, if that is the case, there's going to be less people learning about Melee, so that essentially is less people joining the Melee scene, which just makes the scene stagnate and not become any better at the game and not improve, which essentially just correlates to the downfall of Melee, sadly.
Yeah. So, to Nintendo, ball's in your court. You've heard the people, like what they want, what they're passionate about. It's up to them to like decide what to do about it.
I was gonna say, they're not letting this die. They fought back before. They're fighting back. They're fighting. I can't talk. Wow.
They're fighting back now.
They're fighting back still today.
Yep.
Free Melee. They're still fighting for this. They love this game, and we're still pushing for this. They're not gonna just sit around and let the game die. They're gonna do as much as they can.
Yeah, and I think people from Ultimate scene as well are definitely hearing them, because not only is it the game, but there's so many people's lives and careers on the line just because of this really greedy move by Nintendo. And I know that happens with several other things in the world, but I think now more than ever, with such a non-essential move by Nintendo to basically gain absolutely nothing out of this, is making a move to essentially really anger, even though it's a niche, a really core community to Nintendo, specifically Smash.
Oh yeah, I found the message that I was looking for like a message to Nintendo regarding making Slippi. Star Fox was made by a group of like teenage British people, and which they then picked up.
Sounded like you're about to say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that would explain why everyone's an animal in that game. But Sega made Sonic Mania with the help of dedicated fans. SNK worked with a group of people called Code Mystics to implement rollback in King of Fighters. Arxis hired a single dev who worked on the original Guilty Gear and implemented rollback, and all these games exploded. So why can't you do the same with the people who are obviously showing talent and passion in your products?
It's because they want it to die. I'm literally telling you, they don't want Melee to exist because they think that it'll promote Ultimate more. And that's just facts.
Yeah, it doesn't make it any less dumb.
I mean,
It doesn't, but that's how Nintendo views this situation, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's a win-win for them. They get to protect their IP, and they get to promote their newer games instead.
Well, protect
They
their
don't
IP in
lose
air quotes.
anything.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
When I say it's a win-win,
Massive.
there shouldn't be any losses on either side. Even if Nintendo didn't do this move, it's still theoretically a win-win from both sides of the table. Because they're getting free publicity, new people in the scene for Smash that'll eventually go into Ultimate, that just raise everything, sales, viewership, everything. But Nintendo is too big-headed to let it go.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just how it is sometimes.
It is. It sadly is. But we will transition over to, sadly, the last deal of the week to ever touch.
Shed a few tears.
To ever touch behind the screens, or even Radio UTD at that degree. I'll have the next people that do a show do deal of the week. And they'll have just like a normal music show, and they'll be like, all right, the deal of the week. But since it is such a special moment, I'm going to actually give everyone one game or one bundle.
You're giving out games?
Each,
Hold on.
for each console/platform. So we'll start off with PlayStation.
I think what you mean to say is one deal for each platform.
That would be too easy.
God.
We'll start off with PlayStation, coming with Watch Dogs Legion, a game that actually only came out about a month ago, for $30 at Best Buy. Granted, these sales aren't actually going on right this moment. They're actually going to be starting in a few days once all of the Black Friday stuff roll around. But it's actually basically starting throughout the entirety of Thanksgiving week. So that'll be at Best Buy. Actually on both PlayStation and Xbox. And that's for every PlayStation console, including PS5, Xbox One X. So for a game that just came out, $30. If you're interested in Watch Dogs, go check it out. Xbox, on the other hand, I have Star Wars Squadron, another game that just came out not so long ago. Eli, one of our good friends, actually really enjoys that franchise, and he said that this game is really fun to play. So if you like any aerial combat games, Star Wars themed games, $17 over at GameStop as well.
I believe I don't mean to cut you off here, but I believe they did announce further support for Star Wars Squadrons.
Awesome. Well, that even proves a more reason to go and get that game. More than 50% off for that. As far as Switch, I do have a BioShock Collection, the new remaster of those 3 games. You can traditionally get those games on PC probably for about this price, but for a Switch game, $15 at Walmart for the whole collection. I think that's a fantastic deal. And kind of rounding it out for PC, it's actually more about VR this time around. Didn't really have too much for PC deals specifically, even though there's plenty of them. But last week we had the Logitech mouse for $15 at Best Buy, which I believe is still on sale. But if you do have VR by any chance, Humble Bundle, our bread and butter over here at Deal of the Week, has us covered once more for the Humble Fall VR bundle with some amazing titles such as Raw Data, I Expect You to Die, Creed, all coming in for under $16. And if you just want to pay $1 more, you can actually get The Walking Dead and Zero Caliber, which are both, I've heard, fantastic games. So a wide variety of games that you can play, some shooters, some puzzle games, some sports games, all for $17. So go ahead and pick that up if you're looking to. That ends in 7 days.
And then I'm going to go ahead and interject with another Humble Bundle, just because you'll see why in a second. There's another one, that's the Humble Sweet Farm Fall Bundle, which contains Super Hot, Moonlighter, and A Hat in Time. Go play A Hat in Time.
That's why.
It's $12, totally worth it.
That is
for all
a
three of the
phenomenal
games.
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Hitarth,
Yes, Hector.
I think you have something special planned for our last show.
The last 10 minutes of our show? Do I? Man, maybe I need to look through my notes, scramble up something. I'm just kidding. You already know. We talked about Smash. We talked about esports. Let's talk about the one other thing anyone else cares about other than me.
What?
We're talking about the Speedrunner Corner. You already know. We've got more speedrunning content we can talk about. This one's gonna be a little more discussion heavy. Wanted to talk with you guys. I think for once you guys can actually look at speedrun.com, look at the games.
Oh, thank God, I'm blind otherwise.
I'll just like, thank God I've got the knowledge finally in my hands.
My God.
We're gonna start with the first question for all 3 of us we can talk about here is, what game do you think on speedrun is the most satisfying to watch?
The most satisfying?
That's a good question.
Probably anything that's like really like
fast.
Yeah, fast and technical.
Like Super Meat Boy or something like that, I bet is really satisfying.
Again, I haven't seen a large amount of speedruns, so I'm gonna say Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh, you're actually right. I think Odyssey's gotten to the point where the movement is so fluid, it makes the game just so much better to watch as a speedrun.
Yeah, that game is really fun to watch. I think for me, I'm trying to think, because I haven't really watched Super Meat Boy speedrun, but I bet it would be incredibly fast.
I'll agree with you on that one. I've seen some speedruns for that. I've seen like the whole 106% runs for that, and the movement they do in a lot of these levels is crazy that they pull off in like this long of a run.
For me, it's like essentially the same as like what is it called? It's like a boss. What is it again? The ones that you were playing, like the incredibly hard ones.
Oh, okay.
Boshi.
Boshi, yeah.
Boshi.
I want to.
I was about to say Boss G.
There's an entire I want to be the guy fan game. So there's I want to be the guy. There's which is the OG original game that was made for that. And then there's I want to be the Boshi, which I think is like the most popular one that people have heard about. It's gone to every other speedrunning major event. You've seen that. And then there are all the other fan games, and there's a whole lot of them, and only like some of them are ones people actually like actively run through.
Yeah.
Did you know that there's a speedrunning category for Rainbow Six Siege?
What is it, terrorist stuff?
For the situations.
The situations.
Like they're the game.
This is one of the ones I was gonna bring up for one of the other questions.
All right, hit us with it. I think my answer though is Super Meat Boy. Even though I haven't really watched too much of it, I know that game is like essentially Boshi, but like not complete crap. Where it like has a
when the levels are
janky stuff.
I think the most satisfying parts in Super Meat Boy are when you're not even playing as Meat Boy himself. When you're playing as some of the other characters. I don't remember
other characters in Meat Boy.
No, yeah, they utilize the other characters.
Meat Girl.
I'm trying to remember what the other character is called. There's like this one blue-haired character that you can use, and the way their ability is so broken. You're like, they use it to like clip through levels, and they move super fast. And it's actually crazy.
But yeah, that or Portal is really satisfying as well.
Oh yeah, I'd say like anything pretty heavily like technical based, and a game that's like not too long to run. So like pretty much anything under an hour.
Odyssey for me is just a little long to be incredibly satisfying, but I do find like the little movement like things that they do and like clips and stuff like that are really, really sick, especially as a game that's like so long. But I think like the shorter the game is, the more there is room to like really make those small micro movement adjustments and like really nail down the movement. And I think Minecraft is actually also kind of surprisingly be getting there, just because of the RNG is really enticing. It's like,
yeah, I was gonna talk about Minecraft just because it's like adaptability is cool to see for that kind of stuff.
Everyone being different is really cool to look at.
I'm gonna say a little bit of an odd one, getting over it with Bennett Fodder.
That one
it's
is
a very short
too.
speed run, but seeing like after you like everybody watches their first run of Bennett Fodder, be like somebody either playing the game or playing the game for themselves, and like struggling with the mechanics, getting used to it, while this like soothing British voice is like air quotes chastising you while like just saying stuff, and just to see a person just like go over that super cleanly, not have any trouble, skip major segments, it's fun to watch.
It's absurd how they just demolished the game.
Yeah, I think they call it like a Fodian series, like the whole type of like genre of game, like Jump King, those type of games are very satisfying because it's like so exact, and you can like, I think even Jump King more than getting over it is like,
yeah,
if you miss something, it's just the run's over.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Seeing somebody like nail trial and error based gameplay like just in one shot is cool to see.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure.
And then there's pencil sharpening.
That's gonna move on to our second question, or maybe our third probably, but the second one's gonna be, so what game could you imagine there not being a speed run of?
They're not being a
Like
speedrunner?
you think you see a game and you think there's no way someone can speedrun this game.
Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, probably like any like online multiplayer game or like
Because that
like
he already brought up
like
Siege.
heavy story-based games. Like I can never imagine somebody speedrunning like a Telltale game.
I
that
actually
makes
could.
sense.
I just don't think there's no Smite. Like there's no like League of Legends speedrun, probably.
Well, let's go look. Let's go look and see. They probably. It's funny. I think there's categories for TF2, Team Fortress 2. They have like speedruns for the trainings. The
What about
basic
Smite?
trainings. I was looking at League first. Oh my god, League has so many categories.
What is
They have the
Smite?
tutorial, 1v5.
Oh, they do have the
something.
practice.
There's like bots and stuff. You can play against bots and all that.
That's so sad.
Wait, let me look at Smite. This is kind of.
They
They
have arena practice.
There are speedruns for The Wolf Among Us. My question is why?
It's basically clicking simulator, like how accurate
Yeah.
you can move your mouse into specific spots and memorize where to put it.
Oh, so it's like playing Osu.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but OSU requires like
There
skill.
was one that was like what is it called? You know that like the Freddy Fish type games where there was one that was like has a
Yeah.
car. I forgot what it's called.
Oh, you're right. I don't remember.
Didn't a Small Ant speedrun that?
Yeah, Spawn did a
He
run
did.
of that.
Yeah, and like that game is like essentially the same as Wolf Among Us, where it's maybe not as story driven, but it's essentially just memorizing where to click on a screen. The speedrun's like 2 minutes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I actually do remember seeing the speedrun for that. I can't remember the name, and now it's bugging me. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking multiplayer.
Putt-Putt,
games
it's
have a
Putt-Putt.
Big.
Putt-Putt.
It's
that's
From
what I'm-
production.
You're right, actually is.
Production is telling me it is Putt-Putt.
Oh my god,
Oh, okay,
Whoopsie's
okay.
Amazing Adventure? I totally forgot this game existed.
Actually crazy. Some of these like off games that people run for whatever reason. I don't know why, but some enjoyment out of it, you know.
It's weird because Wubsy's Amazing Adventure has more active players than The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess and Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
Yep.
I think it's one of those things where like no matter what game it is, someone will find a way to speedrun some part of it.
Yeah.
I think that's just a given.
One like super niche speedrun that I'll go ahead and cut that off there. I was just gonna say Kingdom Hearts 2. All the super bosses are very satisfying speedrun too.
Oh yeah, just some of the really hard stuff. But bringing on to what you want to talk about, Adi, with what game that can be speedrun makes you ask yourself why people run this. And I believe you wanted to bring up pencil sharpening, didn't you?
Pencil sharpening. Anything really. Anything fast. But I think sadly our time has come.
Time went by too fast.
A little bit too
Time has
fast.
gone too fast, just like it does in speedrunning. Sadly, our time here is coming to a close. We've had a ton of fun. The show has been super fun.
It was a fun year.
It has been. And I think for anyone that's been joining in over these episodes that we've had over the past year, have definitely seen us evolve as talk show hosts, as people, as friends. So I can be happier to end our show where we are. And I think
we've gone from mumbling idiots to bumbling idiots.
now at least our statements have something to back it up, and we have something, I think. But overall, I think it's been a great semester.
Hitarth, would you like to go over the new music really
I would
fast?
love to. I'm most of our timer, so I'm sorry I'm cutting into the music time right now. We have Seasons and Something Here by Vacation Squad playing right now from their album Forever in Bloom. Music's dance pop, sounds really chill and mellow. You're probably hearing it right now. And then right after we have The Facts by Sunrest from their album Home Remedy. Once again, pop and pop punk rock music. Hope you guys enjoy that.
All right, everybody, for the last time, thank you all for listening. It's been a pleasure. If you've listened at all, thank you. We all had a great time. And, for the usual outro, there's still a pandemic going on. If you're going to go outside, wear a mask, wash your hands, please be safe. And I guess I don't get to say we'll see you guys next time. This is it for us.
It's
been a pleasure.
It's been a journey. It's been a long time coming, but we appreciate all of you stopping by for countless weeks that we've been doing the show. Tarth, feel free to outro if you'd like, but from the bottom of my heart, thank you, everyone.
No, yeah, thank you all for showing up. And thank you for coming here, listening to us.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Take it
Peace,
easy.
guys.